If you want to be wealthy and truly happy for the rest of your life, there's one lesson you have to take to heart. Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Most people think money comes from hustling harder at work, but the truth is your income will rarely grow far beyond your own level of personal development. Sure, luck might throw you a curveball now and you might see a sudden spike in income. But if you haven't grown into the kind of person who can sustain it, life has a funny way of pulling things right back to where you are. If someone hands you $1 million, you'd better become a millionaire in mindset, in habits, in discipline, fast. Because if you don't rise to match that gift, the money will vanish just as quickly. It's happened time and time again. That's why they say if all the money in the world were evenly divided, it would end up back in the same hands before long. It's not about chasing success, it's about attracting it. And the way you attract it is by becoming the kind of person success is drawn to. You won't find lasting happiness in what you get. Real happiness lives in who you become. That's where the transformation happens. Not in the paycheck, not in the recognition, but in the growth, the evolution, the quiet daily work of becoming better. If that sparks something in you, if you feel ready for change, not the surface kind but deep, meaningful change, then it starts with understanding how the world works. It begins with ideas. One powerful idea can change your entire life. And the problem most people have isn't a lack of money, it's a lack of ideas. That was my mistake too. I used to say, I'm broke, that's my problem. But I was wrong. The problem was I didn't yet have the idea that could generate money. Because once you get the right idea, once it clicks, everything can change. But ideas don't just land on your lap. You have to go looking for them. You have to study them. Study success. Study happiness. Study wealth. Don't leave it to chance. Don't go through your day hoping things will just work out. Life doesn't respond to crossed fingers. It responds to deliberate action. So study, learn, take notes. And when you find something that works, don't just store it in your head. Write it down. Keep a journal. Not for poetry or doodles, but for wisdom, for insights, for truths that can reshape your life. Then go over them again and again. Repetition builds roots. Eventually one day, seemingly out of nowhere, it blooms. It shows up in how you think, how you speak, how you earn, how you live. If you're serious about change, there are 3 ways to start shifting your direction. The first is reading. The most successful people on the planet are insatiable readers. They read because they need to know. They're driven by curiosity. They don't wait for the world to teach them. They go out and learn for themselves. Because standard education only gets you standard results. If that's all you want, fine. But if you want more, if you want a life that breaks the mold, you have to go beyond the basics. You have to become self-educated. Sure, you can learn from your own experiences, but why take the long way when someone else has already written the map? One book could save you years, and there are books for everything. Becoming stronger, more confident, better with people, more disciplined, more persuasive, more compassionate. There are hundreds, thousands of stories written by people who've walked the path. They've laid it all out, and yet most people never bother to read them. Imagine that. The keys are on the table, and people walk right past them. So read. Not for hours, just 30 minutes a day. Something positive, something challenging, something that stretches you. Make it a habit. Feed your mind the way you'd feed your body. And don't just read. Listen. Surround yourself with successful people and listen closely. You can learn just as much from what people don't do as from what they do. Watch how they talk, how they think, how they handle problems. You can even learn from those who aren't doing well. Take notes on what not to do. Learn from both. If you're struggling, one of the best moves you can make is to invite someone who's doing well out for dinner. Yes, even if it costs you. Spend $50. Spend $100. Get them talking for a couple of hours, and they might drop a single idea into your lap that triples your income, shifts your mindset, and reroutes your entire life. But most people won't do it. They say, why should I buy dinner for someone who's already rich? And that's the difference in mindset right there. That's why they stay stuck. Finally, observe. Watch the world like a student, not just a participant. There are lessons everywhere, every conversation, every reaction, every challenge. Life is a classroom, and it's always in session. The people who grow, who succeed, who rise, they're the ones who are paying attention. Get around people who are truly making things happen and just watch. Really watch. Success leaves behind subtle trails. It's never random. There's a rhythm to it, a code, a pattern hidden in plain sight. Watch the way he walks into a room, how she listens before she speaks. Successful people move a certain way, talk a certain way, think a certain way. And if you pay attention, you'll begin to notice it. Not because they're trying to show off, but because excellence becomes a habit. There's a man out there pulling in 10 grand a month. Maybe it's in his handshake, or maybe it's that quirky little walk of his. You might laugh at how he moves, but maybe, just maybe, that's where it started for him. Copy it, own it. Even if you don't have the money yet, you've got the posture, the presence, the vibe, and sometimes that's the spark. Everything starts somewhere. The real key is to be someone who notices, really notices. The smallest things can crack open your perspective and flip your world upside down, just by observing more closely than most ever do. There are two ways to see the world. One is through your eyes. That's sight. The other is through your mind. That's insight. One shows you what is, the other reveals what it means. Combine the two, and you begin to unlock everything. Put your eyes and your mind to work. Seriously, pay attention. Wherever you are, be all there, completely present, engaged, alive. The first step in changing your life is understanding how things really work. The systems, the habits, the cause and effect behind success or failure. Once you get that, here comes the game changer. Go to work. That's it. Get fired up about the fact that you can make yourself do what needs to be done. That power is in your hands. The ability to shift your entire direction. Not someday, but tomorrow. That's the thrill of being human. You're one decision away from a different life. And it doesn't start with the big, showy stuff. It starts with the small disciplines. The little promises you keep to yourself when nobody's watching. Wake up early. Do the hard task first. Make the call. Write the plan. Stick to your word. These are the tiny weights that build your discipline muscle. And when life throws a heavy hit, and it will, you'll have the strength to take it. But if you ignore the little things, the big ones will crush you. You've also got to become your own spark. Self-motivation, it's the only real kind. Waiting for someone else to push you is a dangerous game, because what if they never come? What if no one ever shows up to cheer you on? Then what? You're stuck. So stop waiting. Start pushing. Be your own ignition switch. Fire yourself up. Here's a truth that'll shift your whole mindset. If your learning doesn't lead to action, it becomes useless. Knowledge alone isn't power. Applied knowledge is. Use what you learn. Do something with it. Let it move you, shape you, make you better. Wealth, in every sense, comes from execution, not just understanding. But while you're out there building and grinding, don't lose yourself trying to cut corners. Don't try to cheat the game. Work the system, yes. Learn it, master it, but don't try to outsmart it with shortcuts that only steal from your potential. Cheap tricks lead to cheap results. You deserve better than that. So take the longer road if you must. Just make sure it's the right one. No compromises when it comes to what's right. If it were just you and me talking right now, face to face, I'd say this: reach deeper this year. There's more in you than you're showing the world, and you know it. Talents, ideas, energy, resilience. It's all there, waiting to be unleashed. You don't have to stay stuck in the same rhythm, the same story. You can shift it, rewrite it, starting any day you decide, even tomorrow. What will you do tomorrow that moves your life in a new direction? Think about that. One small action, one bold choice. Because if nothing changes tomorrow, nothing changes. The next 5 years will look exactly like the last 5. And if that thought doesn't sit right with you, then you've already got your answer. Change something. Change everything or don't. It's your life. But never forget, you can flip the script anytime you choose.